Hey everybody, and welcome back to my stream. I'm Full Queue developer, and I usually build apps live on stream, and that's been a lot of fun. I kind of want to talk about instead what might be next for the channel. Um, Maybe there's some things we could tweak or improve. Um, Everyone could have a better time. Um, Here's an outline of what I'm hoping to talk about today. Hoping to talk about, the goals I had for the channel. I wanted to sort of reflect on the progress we've made toward those goals and the challenges we've bumped into. Um, Wanted to kind of review a timeline of the projects that we've worked on stream. Maybe some ideas for tweaking the format or tweaking the time slot. Um, So, as always, thank you so much for joining me on these creative adventures. Okay. Yes, it is Wednesday, so we're ending at 4 o'clock as usual today. That's usual for Wednesdays. Okay, so goals. Um, my goal was to kind of make a reality show of programming. Um, I get so inspired by IRL streamers that get so excited about whatever game they're playing, where they get so excited about the food that they're eating. They make it look so yummy, and you just know it is. Um, and I feel like I was trying to do that for programming. Of like, I really love programming. I've been programming for 25 years, 15 of that professionally, 8 of that focused on iPhones, um, across the full stack of anything you could imagine for programming. I really love programming. I really wanted to show the joy of what I was creating. I work on Subway apps. I work on open source. I work on, um, we'll talk more about all those projects in part four, I guess. But that, I guess, was kind of the goal. And maybe the format would be like chat is my pair programmer. I really liked pair programming at the start of my career. I think that really uh, accelerated my learning. My first job did pair programming. And I kind of wanted to bring that experience to Twitch. Um, and I guess it wasn't so successful as in like chat can't really participate in the same way that someone sitting next to you or someone sharing your screen with their own keyboard and mouse can contribute, primarily because, chat doesn't have access to all the files. Um, so that didn't work out. I guess that's bumping a little bit into the challenges section. Um, and because the apps I was working on at the time were closed source, um, I I tried, selling subscriptions to get access to the source code, but that that didn't work out, um, which is fine. That's good feedback. And as part of reality show programming, I wanted to show like getting stuck. I wanted to show what real programming is like, even though I do feel like I'm a very good programmer. I think what makes me a good programmer is knowing how to Google for the errors I'm getting, where to look, how to test out an answer, and decide which answers to take and which ones where I should keep looking. I feel like that's what a contemporary programmer is very good at searching through documentation, um, blog posts, Stack Overflow, etc. Also, including getting stuck, was trying to make design decisions on stream. Um, yes, those were kind of my goals. And you know what they say. Sometimes the thing you're looking for behind the thing that you're doing now. So maybe we'll be able to come up with something better. Okay, let's move on to progress. Um, we got up to 130 followers on Twitch, 50 on YouTube, 20 on Twitter. Thank you so much. That was way more than I was ever expecting, honestly. Um, we even had a few people subscribe with money and with Amazon Prime. Um, really blew me away. Um, I guess I had kind of low expectations for starting streaming. I was trying something out, and to even get this far, um, it feels really good. Um, we shipped an app on stream that was highlighted by iOS Dev Weekly. That was huge. That was a huge boost to my confidence that I was doing something uh, going in the right direction. Uh, Adbear of Crimson Town says Purple Heart. Oh, thanks. Here's a heart back to you. We even had some viewer questions. Some people paid with bits to get help, and that was a lot of fun. But that hasn't happened in a while. And we've also been working on. Well, I guess that kind of bleeds into the next session of projects. Um, talk about the challenges a little bit. Um, Even though we got all those followers, we kind of had a kind of a consistently low viewer count. Um, I guess is okay, but I guess I'm hoping to make something interesting. And a low viewer count kind of reflects that maybe it's not as interesting as I thought it was. And there's an opportunity to switch up the projects or format or time slot to fix it. Um, yeah, making design decisions on stream, that never really felt good. Um, in my mind, I was like, oh, I'm gonna like take apart this interaction and talk about how I'm how I'm thinking about programming it and how I'm thinking about the look and feel in my hand. And for Haptic Studio, I think that went okay because it was kind of a simple app. But for like questions for some of the other projects like Since or Underway, um, I felt like I was kind of making poor decisions on stream as far as design goes. And then that doesn't feel good for me because the decision is not as good as it could be. Maybe it doesn't feel good for the user because they're for the user for the viewer. Man, I've been making apps for so long. Maybe it doesn't feel good for the audience because they recognize maybe themselves that wasn't such a great decision. Um, Maybe they feel the anxiety of trying to put something, finish the goals on the left hand side, finish the goals in the queue became a little too important to me as opposed to um, kind of just being with the code the way that I would be when I'm working alone without talking to it, without talking through it. Um, yeah, it became more about finishing tasks over exploring, and I wanted to make a programming show about exploring all these things. They didn't. They didn't quite happen. Um, maybe there's some things I could do with that, like maybe take an improv class or something like that. Um, Help navigate that, or yeah, I'm not sure. I worked on several projects on stream. I worked on Underway, the subway app. You can bring up the website for it real quick. You tap on the subway map and you see when the trains are coming, along with many other features. Um, but you know that app, I've been working on it since 2015. It shipped in 2016. There's a lot of files. It's out for Android. There's the web server. There's the website. There's just a lot to it, and I feel like maybe it's been a little hard to follow for the audience. Um, Also, because I'm supporting iOS 14 on that app, it's older tech. I'm using Viper and UIKit, and so maybe it's not as interesting to folks. And also because the app is so big, um, a lot of the stuff that I need to do for it is kind of boring, uh, perhaps to watch. Um, I don't know. I thought maybe showing off the maintenance of a huge app might be interesting. Um, but the low viewer count, I think, kind of is feedback that it's not as interesting as maybe I hoped. And so I guess I need to do that off stream. But on the plus side, um, the people that found out about Underway through the stream seemed to really like what they saw. I remember one person was saying, "Oh, I'm from Connecticut. I'm going to tell all my family in the city to use this app. It looks amazing." Um, that felt really good. Um, because I feel like I do have a lot of really good ideas. I feel like I am creative and I need to show it off. And people seeing that on stream, I felt that was good. We worked on Synths on stream, and chat liked it. Chat liked the medical focus of it, of like trying to help people communicate better with the medical professionals in their life. I think chat also liked that it was original work, um, that it was a small new app, so it was a little bit easier to follow along. Unlike Underway, which was so many files. Um, we stopped getting updates from the designer, and so that app just kind of fell off on stream. But maybe that app will come back. We'll see. I'm not sure. We also did Haptic Studio on stream, and it was highlighted in iOS Dev Weekly, which felt really good. Um, People seemed to like it. Seemed to be it was helpful for them to find find the right haptics for what they're doing. Also, it was Swift UI. It was original work, so I think that maybe kept it interesting. And even though it got a bunch of downloads, it's free, so it didn't really pay for itself, I guess. Um, and so that made me want to stop updating it. But perhaps like the next big feature for it, I wonder if I made that an in-app purchase. Um, if maybe that would give the motivation and business sense to make some updates for it. Um, Basically, the timeline editor. Right now, Haptic Studio is just kind of one instant of haptic, but in Xcode, you can define a whole bunch of events, kind of like GarageBand or Logic, like an actual music thing with our MIDI, with the events coming in at all these times, and you control the parameters of the wave as time goes on. And that could be something that we add to Haptic Studio on stream, and then charge some amount of money to unlock it. And then another project I'm thinking of, I guess it's been named FQAuth at the moment, thinking that this would be an open source auth server in Vapor, open source Vapor for sign in with Apple. And handle your in-app purchases also. And it would, you as an app developer, um, instead of using Firebase or some other service, you could deploy this Docker container and kind of focus on your app and know that the auth is right there in your own Postgres database, so you can make your own queries on it. There are services that do this for you, but they're closed source. And I mean, that's great. That's also a business model that is shown to work, obviously. But as a solo app developer, it kind of feels bad. I want to be able to see, I want to see the users in my database. I want to know the code that's happening. I want to see maybe learn something too from reading the code for other features I might want to put in the app. And also, as a developer making this, the benefit of going open source is that folks that know, a little different aspects of security, they can offer suggestions for, hey, maybe do it this way. It'll be a little bit more secure if you go this way rather than that way. And that sounds great to me. Um, and in fact, it already has one GitHub sponsor. So that's that's super exciting. Um, yeah, and there's like all these different things I could work on, but I also do need to, unfortunately, pay rent, eat food, go to the doctor, and you need cash money to pay for that. So I don't know, maybe I do think it makes sense to be um, open source for the reasons I mentioned. Um, Maybe I should scale up, depending on which projects get more popular, kind of put more days into them, depending on you know how many sponsors each project gets. I don't know. That's kind of a highlight of a few of the projects that I've worked on stream. Oh, and I think I've also worked on Swish on stream a little bit too, and that's going well. 1.0 is out. And you can see that on my GitHub, as well as FQAuth is on my GitHub. I guess I could type it in real quick right here. Same as my Twitch handle. Yeah, so I've worked on Swish, Haptic Studio, since underway on stream, and perhaps soon FQAuth. And I also have another open source idea. We'll see what happens. Also wanted to talk about the format of the stream. Currently, it's every day, every weekday, right at 3. We switched this week to every day at 3 o'clock. Used to be every weekday at 2. And I'm not sure what the best time slot is. Currently, I work on a client project in the morning, and yeah, so maybe I'm a little bit less fresh than if I streamed first thing in the morning. When I started streaming, I think when I was starting at 2 o'clock, I was waking up at like noon or 1, so that's pretty fresh. Um, I wasn't waking up on stream, but I was waking up and hopping right to it. Um, and that felt good. And I guess if we move the stream to I'm switching it to Timeslot a little bit. Um, I guess let's just move these closer together. I'm talking about Timeslot and format at the same time. Um, yeah, if I move it to the morning, maybe I'll attract different viewers. Maybe I'll lose viewers. I don't know. I think that's something I'm interested to experiment with. I guess as long as I also have client work. I mean, ideally, I wouldn't have client work. It'd just be being creative on stream, being creative and being appreciated for that, being creative and being recognized for that. That's that's the goal. Um, Kind of goes back to this first point here. I'm not really a workhorse. I feel like while I can do that, that's not what makes me special. In fact, if that's what you need, you can get more bang for your buck going with someone else. Um, if you need 10,000 lines of code in 10 hours, or I don't know, something like, I'm not your guy. Someone else is going to be really good at that. I'm the one that takes a creative, curious approach. Make sure that we're building the right thing. Make sure we're building it in the right way. That will scale. That'll be readable. That'll be maintainable. Won't have bugs. That'll be well tested. Make sure we kind of try a few different approaches to make sure that the approach that we are committing to is the best one. That's me. That's my strength. And yeah, in the real world, in the corporate America, that tends to not be as valued. They tend to value the um, write a lot of code, even if it's the wrong code approach. In my experience and from hearing from others as well. Um, yeah, so maybe my schedule showcases the wrong thing. My schedule showcases, hey, I do work every day. Come look at me work. And that's not really what's interesting about me. Um, Maybe I need to do fewer streams and spend more time exploring stuff off stream. Um, I don't know because it's also really fun exploring stuff on stream. I guess like right now I'm exploring the stream on stream, kind of talking through my thought process. Um, this feels good. Um, yeah, I guess going back to the challenges section, like as long as it's problems related to what I've set out to do, it makes sense. If there's like an unrelated problem, like all of a sudden Xcode just stops working, or it's just crashing all the time, or yeah, unrelated problems just feel bad if I'm trying to fix a bug and then notice a UI design thing, that feels bad. Um, so I guess perhaps I need like let's have a ideas section. Um, Write down distracting stuff so it doesn't distract stream. Um, yeah, so projects can stretch out over a couple days. Like right now with Underway, we're adding path trains to the app. and it's taking a while. It's a big project. Um, and for the people that aren't in New York, can't use the app, maybe that's getting a little boring. Um, so one idea is to allocate like certain days to certain projects, like underway 1 day a week, FQAuth maybe 2 days a week or 1 day a week to start. Um, the new features for Haptic Studio. Um, Another idea is I could talk through what I worked on for maybe an hour a day, instead of doing it live. Um, Kind of do the work off stream and then make a video about how the day went. Um, I feel like that loses a little bit of the real time vibe that I do like with Twitch. Um, I guess if I do the show, if I do it, call it a show, if I do that show live and also put it on YouTube like I'm doing, like maybe that'll work. Um, and of course, folks have suggested bringing in folks for interviews. That's cool. I'm not opposed to that. I just don't think that's my. I don't think that's my what makes me interesting. Like it'd be nice for a one-off, but I'm not an interviewer. I'm a creative coder. I'm a curious and gentle creative coder. Um, Also, I'm not sure who I would interview. Guess I could interview some of my colleagues or something. I'm not sure. Um, and I guess going back to the format, if I'm having an off day, and I feel like the audience feels it, and they tune out. Um, so possibly doing fewer days a week will make it. Will make sure that I'm like 100% on for each stream or for each video. Um, yeah, look at people like King Shrats, who's like so pumped up every time he does a video. Um, I guess I guess because it's a video, I don't know, he does it all in one take. There are a few cuts in there. I do kind of wonder uh, if it is all one take or if he like takes a break um, in the middle or something. Um, I guess that's one benefit of not doing it live is that I can take a break and it doesn't hurt the live experience. Um, but I mean, some of the highlights on stream have been like when people are interacting with what I'm doing and like asking questions about it, and I'm helping them with their problems. Um, so I do like that part as well. Um, yeah, so there's an option to only do live a few times a week and have it be updates of what I've been working on instead of the live work. Um, that might be a scalable solution. Um, Actually, that's kind of what I'm experiencing right now, right? Like I have all these ideas that are kicking around, and I feel kind of some pressure on imagined or otherwise to say to announce, and this is what I'm doing starting Monday next week. Be there, be square. But I don't I don't know. I don't know what I should do. These are all things that I could do. And I thought that making those kinds of decisions live would be interesting to watch, going back to the goals. Show getting stuck, show Googling for answers. That's what happens in the real world. Um, yeah, so maybe this should be an update show instead of a reality show. Yeah, and I guess I kind of touched on everything here. Um, some people mentioned I should try to make YouTube shorts. Um, there's also TikTok. I checked out some TikTok stuff, and I guess what the programmers do there is they have an older over the shoulder camera that kind of zooms in slowly on the screen, and it's a time lapse of them tapping. Like watch me make a Swift UI view in 10 minutes, and it's just them like typing in a just opposite of slow motion time lapse. And those are like the top rated Swift UI programming videos on TikTok. Um, I don't know. I'm not really a video editor. Um, it'd be maybe fun to work with someone with those skills. And I guess for me, like what I put out, I guess I am a little bit more on the raw end of the spectrum, at least for video. Um, at least with my current skill set. Maybe a year from now, I'll have better skills. Um, and yeah, my focus is on showing full ways of thinking about your apps, full ways of thinking about code, full tools to use like Swish or Xcode Gen or Inkscape. Um, or the auth server, I'm talking about FQAuth. Uh, that's what I want to showcase. That's what I want to be known for. And I guess that's kind of all I have for this. Talking through some stuff. Um, oh yeah, didn't we start on an app for like explore the Xcode betas? Let's see what's in here. Oh, yeah, I started the timer app. Forgot about the timer app. Guess I can add that to my projects list. I mean, I guess I'm supposed to go till like for 20 more minutes, but I'm not sure what else to talk about here. Um, I think I talked more about what FQAuth is supposed to be. Um, bring up where is it? GitHub for it. Uh, yeah, so FQAuth is possibly a new open source thing that I'm going to work on. Possibly, definitely, since it already has a sponsor. Oh, Bad Bear of Crimson Town says your volume is really low compared to loud ads. Um, okay, Yeah, I'm not sure how to fix that, but I can look into that after stream. Um, thank you. Yeah, so talking a little bit more about FQAuth. I guess I'm thinking that this could be a container that you deploy to wherever. Um, and all you need is to bring a database along with you. And you could deploy it to Heroku or to ECS or anywhere that Docker containers go. And uh, let's see. I was thinking I would like do the code reviews on stream, write the tickets on stream, make diagrams and stuff. And I guess the main flow would be um, you'd receive a login request from the app and from your iPhone app, for example, and it would uh, interact with Apple's signing with Apple stuff on your behalf, return back a JWT, both the session JWT and the, I guess, the authentication JWT, kind of the long term, short term uh, tokens that is standard. Um, and then we would also have a library that gets published as well. So that your app could easily consume these JWTs. Because when I looked at implementing signing with Apple, there's kind of a lot. There's kind of a lot to do, not just on the server side, but also like in your app. If we have like a role based, like basically a role based system with some like pre-configured views that you'd use the views directly, or you could modify the views to fit more of your own branding. Yeah, I feel like there's not like great examples of this. There are examples, but not like fully fledged examples. And so this open source project would be like a drop-in solution for that, but also a building block to build off of for people. You can see we have lofty goals for this. The Vapor SDK for your other microservices to consume these JWTs. iOS client, like I was just mentioning, with screens that you could use for signing with Apple, signing with Google. Android client for the same ideas. What would be fantastic would be like a web version as well, because you can sign in with Apple on the web. Obviously, sign in with Google as well. Yeah, I think if this existed, that would be so cool. I want to use it for a lot of my projects. Like I have all these ideas for projects, but like getting Auth going. And again, I kind of don't want to use a prefab service for this. It's something that I want it to look like this, what I use. So I think that means making this or kind of facilitating the making of this. Yeah, and there's our one sponsor so far. Yeah, and that's kind of the goals for FQAuth at this time. Well, I guess there's looks like there's no questions in the chat, so I think I'm just gonna maybe end a few minutes early here. Yeah, I stream every weekday this week, and today we talked about some of the options for what going forward might look like. If you have any ideas, please drop a comment or send a message on Twitter or in my Discord. I really appreciate the feedback. Really trying to build something creative and cool to enjoy. Um, my website is fullqdeveloper.com. And it has a link to my YouTube, which has the past episodes, my Discord to stay in touch, my Twitter for stream updates. Yeah, I guess that's it for now. And let's roll the closing music.